Hello, everyone. My name is Scott Lowe. I am joined by Steve Butts.
Hi, Scott.
We are checking out Call of Duty Ghosts Into the Deep, not the Paul Walker movie. This is
although that would be amazing.
Yeah. So this is the underwater level. You've probably heard quite a bit about if you've been following the Call of Duty Ghosts coverage. So what we're seeing here is really a display of the next-gen power of this new game. It's maybe a little difficult if you're watching online, but this is a real good example of kind of the improvements they're doing to the environments and the detail of the characters and weapons.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see a lot of interesting particle effects here. You're going to see a lot of interesting new lighting models they've got. You're going to see their much-touted sub-D rendering, whereby they actually add depth and detail and roundness to flat surfaces as you get closer to them. So you're seeing the rocks there on the left. As you're far away from them, those are totally flat, although the texture artists have done a good job of sort of making it look 3D. But as you get closer, the surface actually deforms, and little pebbles will raise up, little bumps will raise up. So it's a really sort of interesting way that they can do dynamic scaling of those details as you get closer to them.
Obviously you see a lot of plant and fish life, obviously, and that was a oft memed part of this video once they did the first reveal about how the fish swim out of the way. But it's a valuable and interesting immersive element.
It definitely makes the world more believable.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. So here, you see what Infinity Ward is really striving to do with this level is not only make a really cool, kind of exploring underwater level, but also take, kind of the combat from the ground levels and put it underwater, which is a really interesting kind of endeavor for them, because most of the time they don't really get into that. So you actually are armed with an underwater rifle right now, and you're basically going to get, take these guys out with a gun, which is pretty interesting. Yeah,
you've got this extra Z-axis you can move in. One thing I will say I'm disappointed in, though, is that it's still got this Call of Duty thing where you're playing basically with a walking strategy guide who's telling you, stop at this place, shoot this guy, I'll walk over here. And to me, that kind of kills the immersion that I'm getting from the graphics. Like, you look at this world and it's really believable, but how many decisions is the player making in this sequence? It's very few.
Yeah, and there's also, the exposition problem. I mean, he's saying, obvious things, you make sure you shoot him a few times because it's going to take a while. That kind of that unnecessary helpful layer, but I guess they're trying to appeal to a kind of a less skilled player set. But in any case, so we're moving on, through this level, and again, they're kind of taking the time to kind of show off the engine, but also create a new kind of combat environment, which is kind of uncommon. What's really interesting here as we move into this next portion is they start using sonar as a kind of an environmental kind of damaging effect. Right. So you have to evade this sonar ping. And you can see here, the players getting hit with it, and the environment's reacting to it. It's very interesting.
And you see the great particle effects they have here. I mean, that looks really fantastic to see this haze and the dust get kicked up. Very, very compelling. Very realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been in this situation myself, obviously.
Yeah. But it's interesting because, in a ground level, you'd be evading a helicopter that was trying to attack you, and you have to move from cover to cover. That's what they're doing here with sonar, which is really interesting. And when I did a visit with Infinity Ward, it turns out, a military advisor had told them that in real life, if you're really close to a sub or a ship that's emitting sonar and you're in the water, it actually has the potential to make your insides explode, which is pretty intense. So obviously they've done their research here and they're trying to make it somewhat plausible, even though being totally over the top and awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of plausible, where's the scuba suit for the dog? That's what I want to see.
Yeah, where's Riley?
Right.
So this segment's pretty awesome. He pulls out a portable torpedo here that you can just throw, which is just awesome.
Yeah, it's this unmanned aerial sea drone, basically.
Yeah.
And Call of Duty's always been really great about this, about staying at the cutting edge of military hardware, letting the player get their hands on things that are in use right now or will be in use soon, and it's really cool to see. And they set up, again, as Call of Duty always does, these incredibly cinematic moments. And I joked before about the sort of scripted nature of it all, but the upside of that is they really get to put the player where they want them to be for moments like this, and this to me is just undeniably compelling.
Yeah, so obviously hitting the ship with the torpedo that close was not the greatest of ideas.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the sonar. It travels through water. It can hurt you. An underwater explosion like that even more so.
Yeah, not so good for your health. So again, this is another opportunity to kind of really, showcase the classics Call of Duty set piece, and kind of experiential kind of immersion of this. So again, you can see like the level of detail though, like in the background as these like objects are flying, falling down from the debris of the ship. It's just really breathtaking to look at.
Oh, but look out! Here we go.
The helicopter came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, nobody's better at these guys at creating these emotional moments.
Yeah.
The thing that's always weird for me, though, is like the sense of choice and consequence that's so present in multiplayer is kind of missing from this. But they always go to single player when they demo these games or when they reveal them. Why do you think that is?
I think it's a part of like kind of the epic kind of cinematic quality of it. I think that's absolutely like, kind of what they strive for with these like kind of like Michael Bay-esque kind of moments. But but again, this is just a kind of a first glimpse at Call of Duty Ghosts, and as our main characters here like evade and make their daring escape, we're going to get a sneak peek at kind of like the longer events of this level, which is just countless enemies dropping in. So for more Call of Duty Ghosts, head over to IGN.com.